Welcome back to the 1031 Real Estate YouTube channel. I'm Brad Pickens. Typically, videos on this channel will be about 1031 exchanges, investment properties, analyzing investment properties, those sorts of things. I did, however, want to make a couple quick videos, or at least a quick video. I don't script these, I just kind of talk off the cuff, so we'll find out whether it'll fit into one video or not, about the concepts and misconceptions around listing your property. So first thing I wanted to talk about, and this video is not going to be tips and tricks that are all common sense like most realtors make, the close the toilet seat lids, turn on the lights, clean the property up. That's all common sense. I don't think a video about that would be helpful. This is more stuff that you don't really think about as a seller, but I think about every day since I, sell real estate. So when you're interviewing a listing agent to help you sell your property, there are a few I would call red flags that I would look out for. The first question I would ask an agent that you're interviewing is, will you represent a buyer on my property? And if they say yes, I would highly recommend finding a different agent. And I'll tell you why. So while it is legal for a realtor to represent both sides in a transaction, I think it creates a conflict of interest and ultimately gets you less money for your property. So a realtor has to be a fiduciary for their client, meaning we have to put our client's interest above all else. We still have to deal fairly with the other side, but that creates a conflict. So typically a seller's main goal is to get the most money for their property, especially when it's an investment property. And a buyer's main goal typically is to get the best deal for the property that fits their needs. Now, I can't, and I don't think any other realtor can negotiate those two conflicting ideas at the same time. What happens is if the realtor is trying to represent a buyer on their listing, now they have a financial incentive to get their buyer's offer accepted. And whether it's conscious or subconscious, they're not going to be negotiating the same with other agents and other buyers to get them up as high as possible, or as high as they're willing to pay for a property. So you're leaving money on the table when you have a realtor that represents both sides. And it also opens you up to a little more chance or a higher likelihood of the buyer filing suit, because now maybe they felt that like they got taken advantage of because they didn't have proper representation in the transaction. So I always would recommend steering clear of having your listing agent represent a buyer on your property. So a second red flag I would look out for, which this one's probably pretty common sense, is an agent that comes in and tells you they can sell your house for some number that just seems unobtainable or is too good to be true. And I'll give you an example of this. So I have a client that I was recently talking to. He said that an agent came to his door, ran some numbers for him, told him that he can get him $1,475,000 for his home. Now, my client's home it's not in original condition, but the last time it was remodeled was probably mid-90s. So the house is clean, not updated. This agent told him, you don't have to do any work to the property. We'll get it sold for $1,475,000. We looked up the comparable sales, like any agent does, and there was a home a few blocks away, same exact floor plan, same square footage, same lot size, just had a $300,000 remodel done. So all new landscaping, new siding on the home, roof, new windows, fully remodeled inside, new kitchen, all that stuff. Sold for $1,435,000. Now, there's no magic. I just can't create a sale price out of thin air. Buyers are only going to pay what they see the value in a property as. How is he going to achieve you a higher sale price on your 1990s condition home when that home with a $300,000 remodel just sold a few weeks ago? Unobtainable. So that's a second red flag. I always tell my clients, hey, we're going to get you the most money for your property, but let's be realistic about the range of value that we can achieve given the condition of your property. So anytime an agent comes in and tells you that, I feel they're just trying to make a quick buck. What they're going to come in and do is list your property, most likely too high because they're giving you an unrealistic expectation of value, and then they're going to beat you down on price until the home sells, because they know once you put it on the market, you're most likely going to sell. That's going to be a big detriment to your sale price because they're pricing it wrong. You're going into the whole process wrong. So that's the red flag number 2 that I like to keep an eye out for. So the third thing, which isn't really a red flag, but the third thing I would ask an agent about when interviewing them to list your home is their negotiation skills or their credentials around negotiation. With home prices as high as they are in Silicon Valley, one slip of the tongue of your list, the agent representing you on the sale of your home, can cost you $50, $100, $150,000 by them just saying the wrong thing. So I'm a certified negotiation expert. I went through the same negotiation course that they teach at Harvard Law, and I think it's important because that's one of the biggest jobs of an agent representing you. So I'll give you an example of where this comes into play. And I tell my sellers, that 80% or 85% of negotiation happens prior to the offers being written and submitted. It starts with my conversation with the buyer's agent or the buyers that are going to have their agent call me, and the way we position your property in their minds. So I recently had a home that I was selling that it was about a 2-foot horizontal crack in the foundation. And if you know anything about foundations, horizontal cracks are kind of the kiss of death. My seller still wanted to list the home higher than I think the value would be, knowing that crack is there. So we put the home on the market. We set an offer deadline. We received no offers because most of these buyers came through and said, "Hey, I'm not paying that much for a home with a horizontal foundation crack." We had the inspection. We had a quote. I think it was about a $70,000 or $75,000 repair to fix that crack. So we didn't get any offers at offer deadline. So I removed the deadline from MLS. That way any new buyers or new agents wouldn't see that we didn't get any offers. I had an agent call me a day or two after that, took his buyers to see the property, and asked if the property was still available. Now, they saw the inspections, all that good stuff. They know the condition of the property. I think most agents at that point would be desperate to sell the property, knowing that it's overpriced, and would have said, "Hey, we haven't received an offer. Just put together an offer for us. Let's get this thing sold," losing their client money. Now, I didn't lie to the agent, but the way I positioned and talked to him, I made the home seem like it was still a valuable commodity, because it is, and positioned it to where I created a sense of urgency for him and his buyers. Now, that offer came in $130,000 over our asking price, which in my opinion was about $50,000 over where the home would have sold. So we just should have been listing even further below that. And saved my client from losing a few $100,000 because I didn't communicate the wrong information or the wrong way with that particular agent. So I think negotiation's a very important part of a listing agent's job. So hopefully that video was helpful to you when thinking about selling your property. I think it's super important to find the right listing agent, and we'll probably do a second video more on the concept and my mentality around listing properties, because I think it's somewhat unique, and hopefully you'll find that beneficial too. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to respond there. Also consider giving us a like or subscribing to our channel. That definitely will help us out with making future videos.